I keep on cutting because I don't want to make the tutorial very long. I just want 10 minutes or less. And at this juncture, what we are looking at is we have done now the overtime. Now we're going to look at what we call the pay. And we just copied this and pasted it here, and we called it up here. We called it the pay. And for that, we are going to have to now look at the pay, whereby we are going to say equal sign. First of all, let me do this. Let me make it increase the size. Yes. So we are going, let me even give it a box already, the border. We are going to say here equal sign. We are going to get the day, the hourly wage, multiplying it by the hours worked for. So we are going to get equal sign sum, not sum, this cell, and then we multiply it by the hourly wage of 1st January. Then we press enter, and we are going to get the value, which is 20,000. Then we can autofill it downwards, and we can calculate for the rest. If you can look at my table very well, it's giving me already in currency because I had already formatted this into currency. So whatever I'm doing here, which involves this cell, will always give me the results in currency. That's why you're seeing I'm already having my values in currency. So the challenge with this is if I wanted to autofill like the other one to this other area, I'm going to get 110 on the 8th of January, which is very wrong, because what it is doing, if you look at this formula, it is saying D4 multiplied by E4. Where is our D4? This is D4, and it's multiplying it by E4 to give us this result, which is very wrong. It has shifted the attention from this table here, and then it's giving us these values. So there are two ways to go about this. One way is whereby you have to calculate this one also by saying this amount of the hourly wage multiplied by the hours worked off on the 8th of January, and you get for that one. For 15th, you also say the hourly wage multiplied by the hours worked for on the 15th, you get also the value. Then for 22nd, you also said the hourly wage multiplied by the hours worked for on 22nd, you get the value. Then you say 29th multiplied by the hours worked for on 29th, you also get the value. But that, if you can look at it just the way I've explained, that's going to be a very tedious work. So how do you go about that? This is what you would do. You would say equal sign, then you have to choose the dollar sign, and you know our hourly wage is in what? We are making our hourly wage now a constant. Let it not change. That is what we are declaring by the dollar sign. We are making it a constant that it doesn't have to change. It has to look, whatever we are doing has to look at the hourly wage. The other things can change, but the hourly wage should not change. So how are we going to do that? We say equal sign, declare it by the dollar sign, and we know it is in C4. So we are going to multiply it now by our hours worked for on the 1st of January, which is in D4. We're going to multiply by that, then we press enter. We're going to get our value just like we got earlier. Drop it down, autofill, then also autofill for this area, and we are seeing that we are getting correct values because we have said From this day, the target can shift to this. The target can shift to this depending on the different days that we are looking at here. But this one should remain as a constant. That is why what we mean by equal sign, the dollar sign, then the cell. We have made it a constant that it should not shift its target from there. So at the end of it all, we now have the hourly wage, the pay for this day. So let's now look at the overtime bonus. So we're going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We merge it. We're going to call it overtime bonus. So if this is going to be our overtime bonus, this is what we are going to do. We are going to copy our date again. After copying it, we are going to paste it here. Make sure it fits. Make sure everything fits. So if that is the case, we also highlight this. We give it a border. Then overtime bonus is going to be half of what we are paying you for full time. If we are paying you 2,000 per hour, for every overtime that you worked, we are going to pay you half of that money per hour. So this is one way to achieve that. We are going to say equal sign. Hope it's going to be too small. Let me again increase the size. Highlight the cells. I want to increase the size, increase to 18. And there we are. Then I'm going to say equal sign. After saying equal sign, I'm going to choose, let me make it a constant again. I'm going to say this hourly wage, which is, by now you know why I'm making it a constant, because I've already explained that part earlier. I'm going to make the dollar sign to make it a constant, and I know it is in C4. If we can look very well, it is in C4. That's where our hourly wage is. And I'm going to multiply it by the hourly or the overtime. Then I'm going to multiply it by a half, and a half can be presented as 0.5. That is a half. So after that, I'm going to press enter, and you can see, yes, any number multiplied by 0, even if 100, even if it's what's going to return to you 0. So I can autofill and I get my answers, as you can see. Alternatively, I could say equal sign, open brackets, my hour, I make a constant, first of all, my hourly wage, which is in C4, multiplied by the overtime, which is in this cell, then close the bracket, then divide by 2. After dividing it by 2, I press enter. It's still going to give me the answer, and I can autofill right now, and you can see the overtime bonus that someone is collecting, and still I can now autofill because I made my hourly wage a constant. I can autofill, and you can see all the other values have been calculated instead of calculating, because you could still do it manually, whereby you have to get the overtime multiplied by, the hourly wage multiplied by the overtime of 1st January. You get the values, the wage multiplied, hourly wage multiplied by the overtime of 8th January, you get the value, and so on and so forth. But then when you declare your hourly wage as a constant, it's going to make it easy for you to get the values. Let's meet in the next tutorial for another part of this work. Thank you.